Transition day, like I told the kids, it's nothing really new because we've been practicing now for what seems like a long time with the Italy preparations and kind of how we approach the preseason anyway. But we've kind of got a thing that we say a lot: you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. So we've tried to stay ready every step of the way. But today, obviously, a little bit of a transition day. We haven't had a room full of media to talk to. We'll put new uniforms on, new practice gear, new shoes are getting broke in. You kind of transition over in from individual work to now working together as a team. And you start to have a little bit of a countdown towards that first exhibition game and the first regular season game. So there's a little bit of more energy in the training room in there, a lot of smiles, and I think a lot of people are ready for practice today.
When you reflect back on Italy in preparation for that, how much better and further along are you guys than
we got to take care of so many things on and off the court in August that would not have normally come up until November. When you're in year two and you've got a roster as full as we have now, we've got 15, 16 people at practice, depending on our health that day. We got to take care of a lot of that stuff a month and a half ago, plus experience the cultural, life-changing things that Italy brings you. So we're better on the court. We're much better off the court. And we're so far down that checklist of things you always worry about as a coach. A lot of those things have already been dealt with, and we can really focus on the on-court stuff here. So Italy came at a tremendous time. We were very fortunate that our university was able to send us there. And our kids certainly had memorable moments, but as a basketball team, great strides.
You mentioned having rosters. I mean, it's got to feel, to not be in that situation you were in last year.
Sure. Coach Todd's over there right now, probably still in the coach's office trying to put together our teams for today at practice. Last year it was pretty easy. It was you're red and you're white, and you might have to be both today. This year we've got 3 full teams. We won't have to utilize our men's practice team, but maybe one day a week. And it's quality depth. Every player that played in Italy had major contributions. We subbed it looked like a hockey game over there. You guys probably wouldn't have recognized me playing 5-for-5 subs. But I think practice, if you stay for it, I think it's just going to sound and look different than what you saw last year. So I'm not going to tell you that it's a luxury as a coach, because I think it creates more of a headaches for a coach. When you only got 8 kids that are 9 sometimes available for practice, it takes a number of decisions off your plate, and things just work out. But it's harder for us, but it's a good thing and a good healthy sign of our program and a good thing for our team.
What stuck out for you, 1 or 2 things on the floor as far as individuals or team-wise in Italy?
Everybody last year this time of the year was a freshman. Okay? We were all freshmen. There's the first practice, the first thing that came out of my mouth, it didn't matter whether it was a true freshman like Taylor and Macy were and Grace, or if it was Mal. So what stuck out was now Mal can be a senior. Bailey can be a senior. Raven can be a senior. Jalen can be a junior. Kiera can be a junior. And also just the little fact that Chelsea and IT know that they can play now. You could just see a difference. We're faster, way faster. FIBA has a 24-second shot clock, which I don't think got below 10. We played really fast. Taylor Thomas we found 5 clips of her in Italy with a 24-second shot clock now, okay? The other team would score. Taylor was laying it in on the other end of the floor at 21. So in 3 seconds, we had the ball out of the made basket, up the side of the floor, and in Taylor's hands, laying it in 3 seconds. We're faster. We functioned well. We didn't turn it over, and we made 17 threes in 1 game. It's a lot more than last year when we were making 6 and 7 a game. So we have more shooters. We're faster. We're a year older. Hopefully that means we're better. I don't know that yet, and we probably won't know that for a couple of months.
Inside play. What do you think of that?
I think, the definition of inside play is, for us, we're going to get points in the paint. We're not going to be 6'5". That's just not going to happen. I think you'll see points in the paint increased. And that's all I really care about. I don't care how they come, but getting points in the paint, we need to be better at that. Chelsea Dungy brings you that. She's not 6'5", but she's 5'10", and she's tough. You're also not going to recognize Chelsea when, if y'all are looking for the same kid that you saw at the end of the year last year, you're not going to see her out there. This kid's dedicated herself, sleep, recovery, diet, workout. She looks like a different kid, but she can get us points in the paint. Our kids can get to the free throw line, which I count as points in the paint. Alexis Toll-Free, she'll shoot one today from 30 feet in transition, and you're not going to see me react because that's the shot I want her to shoot. All of those things allow us to get the ball closer to the basket with our spacing. Kiara's better, Taylor's better, Macy's better, and you saw Aaron Barnum out there today, the other freshman. We're still waiting on her eligibility. She's not cleared for participation in games yet, but you'll see her out there in practice today. So we've added a body, but I think every single one of the players you're talking about are better. I think Kiara used her end of the year last year. She had her kind of her breakout game against Vanderbilt and then played really well against Texas A&M too. She's in the best shape of her life since she's been here. I kept getting reports from Little Rock about her and Mal being in the gyms all summer long, and their coaches asked me what was wrong with them because they've been doing it for 2 years and they'd never seen them back in their gyms at high school. But I think those kids took it to heart last year and knew that they were going to be challenged coming in, and so I think the post players will be better. The post play will still be the same. We're not going to throw it down there on the block in a traditional post up and expect Kiara to score on Tierra McGowan. I don't know a drill for that one. I don't know how to fix that. But all three of those kids that I talked about are better at what they did last year, and then I think we add some pieces and some ways to get points in the paint.
How does Atiana fit into what you're doing with Mal?
They're going to play together some. And that makes it incredibly hard to match up with, because if you don't put your fastest one on Mal, she's going to shoot layups. So now IT might get their second fastest kid, and she's so strong that if you're getting the other team's second best perimeter ball defender, you can't keep her out of the paint. Her decision-making's been tremendous. Now that she knows she's playing for playing time, her coming in, getting extra help with Coach Todd on the film room, making the right decisions. But there's nobody, including Mal, that can keep her in front of you. She can get the ball to the paint, and that good things happen for us when that does. And she's got some natural leadership abilities. So it's good for Mal to have that. I think it'll give Mal – Mal had to play 40 minutes a night for us. I think this year Mal plays 35 more effective minutes because IT can take it for 5 or 6 or 7, and then you can also move Mal off the ball from time to time. So you'll see them together some. You'll see them subbing for each other. And when they're together, it creates pretty tough matchups on the perimeter because Toll-Free may be faster than both of those kids.
What about Chelsea? I mean, is she a guard forward, kind of a hybrid type?
Probably, yeah. We call them dragons. She's a dragon, but she can play on the one. She's just a tough matchup. She can play any of our perimeter spots, and she can score around the basket. A lot of people just want to move her right into Dev's spot. See Dev back there smiling. A lot of people want a Dev spot because Dev had a tremendous senior year for us, and everybody's like, who's going to get Dev spot? Who's going to get Dev spot? Everybody wanted Dev spot. We ought to rename it Dev spot instead of Dragon. But you'll see her playing at that spot, getting a lot of those threes that Dev got last year, a lot of those drives to the basket. It's big shoes to fill, but I think she's ready to do it.
Talk about Rokia. What does she bring to the table?
A maturity that no other freshman's ever had. She spent a year at IMG, which is basically like a college. If anybody's ever been to that campus, it's like a really nice college. So she's used to being away from home. She's come in freshman ready. She's picked up on things faster than most freshmen. The transition into life. She was 5th on our team in preseason wins. Her teams win. She's our best on-ball defender. She'll get some rebounds coming right off the edge of the rim that you'll double take on. And she takes a lot of pride in being that stopper right now. She's the most freshman-ready kid we've ever had here since I've been here. That's not very long, but she is freshman-ready, but very, very mature, very skilled. And I think a kid that, depending on how quick she transitions now into playing against SEC-level competition, a kid that we're counting on an awful lot, not only this year but for her career. The fact that they can be seniors now, I rest so much easier at night. You know, that first year, you put your head down, you hope you make it through the night without getting a phone call from the dorms or something, or off campus. I sleep just fine right now. They've set a standard and an expectation. They are all individually unique in how they choose to lead. You know, Mal's not the loudest kid in the world, but the words that she does choose to use are right to the point and very intentional. Raven coming in for what she's been doing, and Bailey, you know, what she's done for us. You know, Kieran's not going to be on the court this year. I don't know if y'all caught that during the off season, but she's going to medically retire. She's got some issues with some injuries that she's going to get taken care of during her senior year. She's a tremendous student that's going to take advantage of that and be ready to graduate and go right into her career. But you're also going to see her around. You know, most kids, when they do that, you don't ever see them. I think she's been at practice almost every day. So she's still around, still part. But right before our last game in Italy, was that when? Yeah, right before our last game in Italy, she just broke down and said that she just felt like her feet were finally at a point where it was not going to be good for her. So she played her last game over there. If y'all get a chance to talk to her about her last shot, I think she'll have a funny story for you. But a great kid and a great leader, and I'm just very fortunate that as a coach that came in transition, your 4 seniors stuck with you. You know, in today's world of grad transfers and in-season transfers and after 4 games transfers in other sports, you know, to have those 4 kids still around, that just it makes me very proud for what our program was able to do last year and sustain all those kids and even find Dev a spot in our department over here. They've all done well.
Last year we talked about you guys charting groups of 5.
Yep.
Who was the, most productive group of 5?
We didn't do that during the off season. We start that today.
Maybe in Italy, I was asking.
Yeah, well, we did chart it, but the lineup actually, I do know the answer to that, so I'll give it to you. The lineup was Tollfree Ramirez, who played over there, but is not eligible to play this year. It's kind of a weird way the NCAA rules played, but there was a lineup, and it had partly to do with the team tried to play us zone. And we made 9 threes on our first 11 possessions, so they scored 20 points in 5 minutes, so that kind of blew out the stats. But it was Ramirez, Tollfree, Taylor, Bailey, and I'd be lying to you if I told you who the 5th one was, but I do remember those 4. But they had a really good stretch against the team playing a zone. We were all good over there. Every kid over there had good moments, and that's going to make these next 30 practices. We can have 30 practices in the next 40 days. That's the way the NCAA works. Count backwards, and we can have 30 practices in 40 days. So we've got our work cut out for us. We got a lot of kids really close. Ideally, I still like to get rotations and stick with them as we go. It's just going to be a lot of competition for them.
How much does that speed? We talked to you last year about how you wanted to play. That speed that you have now allowing you to play that way.
Well, it gives us a chance to win some games. We're never going to get into a physical beat 'em up, out-rebound them to have to win a game. Y'all think back to how many times last year 2 more made threes in a game would have changed our overall season complexion. You know, the game against Tennessee here, the game against LSU here, the game against Kentucky here, at Georgia. There was 5 games that if we just make 1 or 2 more threes. So the fact that we're faster means we're going to get a few more easy baskets, and I think we'll get some speed rebounds. I think we can play a few more kids, a few more valuable minutes. Like I said, Mal at 35 playing faster than the 4 or 5 minutes that she's maybe having to conserve some energy and rest. If she's at full speed, we can get some more transition layups. Now I think we get to some other teams' legs who aren't as deep. I think our overall speed and depth can help us win 2 or 3 more games this year than we won last year against the good teams, not just record-wise, but I think those 5 games against people that made the NCAA tournament last year, maybe we win 2 or 3 of those this year because of that. And the competition of Mal was able to win most races last year. She's got to really run to beat Alexis. And then Chelsea won our beep test. She ran 51 beep tests. I don't know how anybody's ever done a beep test, but 51 is an incredible number to get. So not only is she fast, she's got some stamina. And, when you add that to like Jalen Mason, I haven't even talked about Jalen Mason yet, maybe our most consistent player last year, and I kept saying it, and here we go again, she's that kid you always kind of forget to talk about. Still our most consistent, our most cerebral kid that can analyze and break things down, and you put those other options around her, I think our shot quality is going to improve.
How much better shooting team are you?
That's an easy one. We charted it, so I can tell you. This time last year, we had one player through this point that was making over 50% of their shots from the field in practice. One. And that was Kieran. Okay, so really 0 returning. This year, we have 7 kids over 50%, 4 kids over 60%, and 1 kid shooting 70 in live action, game charted drills. So you'd have to add up all that math and do an algorithm, but a lot better and more depth. There were times last year we had a couple of kids we had to rely on, and if they both happened to be off on the same night, we didn't have option 3. Now if somebody's off, Raven has made more threes this year in preseason than she made all season last year. She shot it really well. And when you look over there at the end of the practice and you see all these kids staying after, and so now you stay after. And, I mean, you have to shoot over 55% to be in our top half right now. It kind of raises everybody's expectations up. And if you want to hang with those and you want to be somebody that we're drawing up plays for to get shots, you have to be shooting it pretty well right now.
Does it take a year to understand not just shooting threes, but how to get better at looks at threes or just to improve that percentage?
I think so, yeah, and mainly it comes from eliminating the bad ones. That's when your percentage goes up, when you stop taking the shots that nobody in the world can make. And we had to take a few of those last year, but now we've be able to eliminate those. It does take a year, and maybe more, but I still want them confident. It's going to take Lex some time. It didn't take her very long. She turned down a 3, and she realized pretty quick. It was the only sub I made in all of Italy. She turned down an open 3 after she had missed 2 in a row, and her reasoning was good. She said, well, Coach, I just missed 2 in a row. I said, great reasoning, but if I have you in the game, you shoot it, I'll decide whether you come out of the game. She made her next 6. So we're going to still go with that. But I do think it takes some time, and we'll give a few of the freshmen, Rokia and her and Aaron, a chance to figure some of that out. But the rest of the kids should know by now.
Much more, that was what I was going to ask. How much better do you feel like those kids know you now and know what you expect?
Night and day difference. I mean, again, they were still this time last year, and I with them, feeling each other out. Now the expectations, the standards are there. I have had to confront very, very few standards issues because they're taking care of them themselves. Still got a long ways to go with that, but, you know, I'm not a good enough coach to coach them and motivate them. I can do one of the two, but this year we've got to coach them. They're motivated by themselves. They're inspired by themselves. They're policing themselves, holding each other to a really high standard. Now we as coaches can go out there and spend a lot of time on their techniques and their strategies and their tactics, and when you can do that, I think you can make big strides.
You set expectations for what you guys want to do as a team?
In little, just kind of in waves. You know, this was our expectation of what it should look like when we got to Italy, now that we're going back. So we'll continue to set them in waves. You know, the ones as far as like the tangible season stuff, a little bit closer. Probably about that time we have that first exhibition game in October. I think it's toward the end of October. Start to look there. You know, it's naturally that time of the year where people want to start picking preseason rankings in the top 25s and in the SEC polls. So it's coming fast. I will try to not get caught up in all that till a little bit closer to Halloween probably. But I can already tell they're going to be higher. I can just tell by the way they've in practice have challenged themselves. Hey, Coach, that's what we did last year. I'll set a standard on a shooting drill or something. They're like, Coach, that's what we got last year. Let's raise that up. So when you start seeing signs like that, you know good things are going to come. But Halloween, we'll start thinking more about the non-conference, which is a really good non-conference. I've seen some of these top 25 polls coming out. We've got at least 3 teams in our non-conference that are going to be in those things at some level, whether they're votes or getting votes. So we've got to be ready fast this year. We've got a tough non-conference.
Last question. You mentioned the addition of Buckets and Nash to the family.
Boy.
What other ways has this summer been different than last summer?
Well, you know, it's funny you talk about that. I just told somebody this story on why I did get them. 20 years ago, I heard a story. Tara Vandiver learned to play piano in the off season because she wanted to learn to deal with frustration. She wanted to do something hard, make her a better teacher. So I did that a few years ago. I tried to learn to play guitar, and I've gotten good enough on guitar to where Scott Verity actually lets me play with their band sometimes, and I can fake it good enough to get along in front of people. So I'm kind of looking for a new challenge. You know, what's a new challenge here? I ask these kids to do incredibly hard things all the time. It's incredibly hard to be a student athlete in today's millennial world. So we're asking them to do hard things. So my daughter talked about getting dogs, and at almost 50 years old, I'll turn 50 this March, you know, empty household, life's on. My agenda is pretty regimented. We introduced 2 7-week-old silver labs to the house, and my life's been different for the last 3 weeks. Let's just put it that way. I've had to child-proof the house. They're chewing everything. They're not changing diapers, but cleaning up messes. It's been quite the challenge, but also fun. I will report they're going to boarding school already after for a month to get trained, because I'm not a very good trainer. They've got me trained great, but I don't have them trained very well. So other than that, the summer was, you know, the Italy trip, and busy with recruiting, but nothing major, life-changing other than the addition of 2 dogs.